Hey guys, Ben with Go to Zero here. We're going to be talking about climbing minimalism today, and that means shoes, chalk bag, and pretty much nothing else. But I'm going to explain a lot of the reasons why. Also, hang around to the end. I'm going to be talking about route setting minimalism because I happen to set at this gym as well. So one of the first things I want to talk about today are shoes. Now, I'm not going to be endorsing any particular brands because, to be honest, shoes are really personal, and who knows, I might be changing shoes here soon as these wear out. So the thing about shoes, I'm going to make some different recommendations on the minimalism level for beginners. The idea is to take one shoe to do it all. So for beginners, I recommend a softer shoe, maybe with a flexible last. They have some that have a plastic last that makes them a little flexible, but a little stiff on the edge. That could be really nice, and Evolve Chronos is an example of that kind of shoe. Or, even those basic, just smeary shoes are fine for beginners. For people that are more intermediate or advanced, I'd recommend something kind of like these, has a hair of downturn on it, as well as a little bit stiffer last. I'm not saying board lasted by any stretch, but just something that allows you to pull a little bit, because as you're pushing into that, kind of V6, V7, V8, you're going to need a little bit of down pulling. Now, as far as professionals go, I'm not a professional. You should ask them. Just one pair of shoes. You could do this. And stuff like this. All right, let's talk about chalk bags. So one thing that I will say, chalk bags you don't want to skimp on. I do recommend getting a good one. I really like these kind that have the buckle tops. There are some with magnetic closures nowadays. Rungni has a really good model as well. Chalk bag is important, but some reasons I say that is because a smaller chalk bag is not going to give me space for my phone. And if you're not using a locker or something like that, you're not going to have a place to put your phone. Also keys, this has a nice little daisy chain attachment here that I can clip my keys on really quickly. This one does have a few other pockets because normally I do carry a few other things on me, but today we're going with minimalism, so I'm going to keep it just a little bit tighter. So that's the most important thing with chalk bags that I can think of. And even then, I will say some gyms do have chalk, although that is a little more of a rarity these days. But let's go ahead and talk about all the other elements. This one. So one of the really key concepts of minimalism is how can you do more with less? So let's talk about a lot of different elements of things that I didn't bring. Tape, don't need that. Actually, most gyms have tape at the front. Band-Aids, same thing. Chalk, not a lot of gyms carry powder chalk in, some do. However, liquid chalk, don't need that. This gym has them. Going a little bit further, let's see, what else could we possibly want? Water. Most gyms actually do have water already in the gym. Brushes. Gyms have brushes usually all over the floor. Some other things you might find handy at the gym. Lifting belts, yoga mats and stretching mats, and balance balls. So realistically, there's not that much that you need to get started in climbing. You just really need a chalk bag and shoes, and you can walk into a gym and get going. And to even take it a step further, if you're brand new first day, they rent the shoes. Chalk bag's not a bad idea if you plan on doing it for a long time. I loved all kinds of chalk bags. There's a lot of fun ones out there, but these are your key elements that you need. All right, so obviously you can see you can climb a lot without really needing a whole lot. That's the beauty of minimalism. Now, personally, I do carry around a few more things than just shoes and chalk bag because I travel to a lot of different gyms, and some gyms do have the stuff, some gyms don't. I recommend contacting them beforehand just to make sure they have everything you are personally going to want. But going to that bare minimum first, getting down to just the shoes and chalk, will really help you decide what else do you want to add, what's adding value for you, and what maybe you can do without. Because the less you're carrying to the gym, honestly, the easier, smoother experience it's going to be. All right, so I did mention I want to talk about route setting a little bit. So say you want to get into route setting for the first time, what's the minimum that you need to bring? Nothing. Now, I don't have the eye protection here. We're actually having them washed right now, but eye protection is already at the gym. So safety glasses, we have those. Ear protection, got those, no problem. Drills, we got those too. And even setting belts, most gyms will have those as well. So really, you don't need anything to set for your first time in a gym. They will usually have almost everything. A couple other items I got here, safety gloves. This is really useful when you're putting stuff on and saving skin until the forerunning portion. And these little magnet bracelets are awesome for holding your bits as you go throughout the day. So this is all the different equipment that you would normally need for setting. Keep in mind that I'm mostly setting boulders. If you get into setting routes, there's a little bit more complexity to it. But again, most gyms will already have what you're looking for if you're trying to set for the first time. So if you're trying to do that, don't stress about the equipment. I'll throw in a bonus tip for me. Minimalism applies to both route setting and climbing, and efficiency too. Least movement possible and getting the most for your time. So for example, when route setting, one of the things we have to do is clear the wall really quickly, right? And you want to be able to clear fast, which means you go one at a time, steady along your path. And by going one at a time, steady along your path, you will get everything taken down really, really fast. But the same applies to climbing, right? Our movement efficiency is huge. So hopefully everything I've shared with you today has been of value to you. How else does minimalism affect climbing, route setting? Tell me below in the comments, what's worked for you? What do you think would help other people in these situations? And of course, if you want to see more content like this, like and subscribe down below. Thank you so much.